largest gun show in the world. Yep, we're here. It's the Wanenmacher Tulsa Arms Show here in the beautiful city of Tulsa, Oklahoma. Going to talk to some cool folks today. Going to look at some cool products today. So let's go. What's up, crew? Going to talk about some antique ammunition here. Our favorite antique ammunition guy, Duane. Going to give us an education. Before we do that, though, if you're new to the channel here at CloverTac, we talk about all things firearm related. So jump down, smash that subscribe button below. While you're down there, if you want to stay up to date on all the new content, well, you know the drill. Just click that notification bell as well.
Chris has a great page. You need to be on there and checking things out. He adds to it all the time.
So you've got several things here. So
yeah, we're going to have some fun today.
Some things I've never seen before.
Well, it's some things I've never seen before either. I saw pictures, read about them.
Well, that says a lot if you haven't seen it before.
And I went to a sale, had a chance to grab some things that was pretty rare, and I grabbed them, and we're going to share them with you all. A lot of times that may be the only way you get to see or have things like this.
Right.
We're going to start with my oldest and probably one of my happiest finds. You can hold this up and show them what we got here.
Yeah, that's
This was a chamber combination cartridge for the Union machine gun in Civil War times. It was sometimes also called the AGAR, A-G-A-R, or sometimes it was referred to as the coffee mill gun.
The coffee mill gun.
Yep, because of how it was hand cranked, kind of like a Gatling gun, but it was right before the Gatling gun. Gatling got a lot of his ideas off of this design. And it had a single barrel instead of the rotating barrels. This was a percussion type gun. It used a musket cap on the back end of it.
What's in the end there, yeah.
Had a musket cap. It used a 58 mini ball, just the same as what was used in the muskets and the rifles. They would do paper patch loads to reload these faster. And they'd load up, it used a carrier box. These would just drop in there and fill in. As you turn the crank, it'd pick up around, pull it around, fire it, and then just let it drop out of a chute out of the bottom.
So these were reloaded every time, reused. That's why they're
drop on the ground, and they could pull it out. This was served as the chamber and the cartridge.
And the
together.
cartridge at the same time. Wow, okay. That's very cool.
It just drop it in place, push it up against the barrel, hit it, and fire it. It was capable of firing in excess of 100 rounds per minute.
That's pretty bad. That's pretty bad as long back then. Yeah,
but
for sure.
The problem was with the single barrel, it would melt the barrel out. They didn't have the metallurgy we have.
That's true. I didn't think about that, but that would be a problem.
They literally shoot the rifling out. In tests that they ran on this firearm in testing, they pushed it to its limits, and they basically shot it out.
Yeah.
They said that there was flying molten iron coming out the barrel and even at the head of the gun. And it was dangerous for the people behind because it was spraying them.
Yeah, I mean, no kidding.
And that's why the Gatling ended up being more successful, because the rotation barrels, you cut down on the heat on one specific barrel like you had with this system.
That's true. That's true. And then you had the ability to use an actual cartridge then too. And
the Gatling in their very first model also used this style of system and cartridge too.
Oh, really? Okay.
And then they went to where they used this chamber but used a rimfire that inserted it in 58 caliber. They had a long and short rimfire. And then they went to the 45-70 and the clip fed and top like everybody's used to seeing in the movies.
Right, gotcha.
But Gatling, he also made the similar gun in the Civil War era that used this percussion type ignition.
Now the one that actually used this, the AGAR you were talking about or whatever, were those very prolific? Did they have very many of those in service that you know of?
They ordered quite a few. There was some in service. It was used at a couple of the bigger battles. I can't remember exactly offhand right now. But they did see action, they were used.
Wow, yeah, that would be a game changer, I think, way back then for sure.
I think accuracy was a problem. I read one deal where they did a test and had it out like at 700 yards and had a real long wood fence, and it only had like a 40% hit rate. So had some issue with accuracy.
Well, but at 700 yards, that's pretty good ways out there.
Just the bullet drop in there with the powder load.
Yeah.
I think they had like 75 grains of powder per load or something to that effect.
So I mean, just like you would load any muzzle loader basically, and then drop that into the unit itself.
And in the field, they try to have the paper, the paper loads where they was preloaded. They could refill these faster.
Right. Yeah, that's super cool. Well, you got some more. What else you got?
This next one, it's marked 45, but it's actually, if you look it up, it's a 450 Needham.
That don't even look right. So that's a primer on the bottom, I'm guessing, right? In the center there.
Needham started doing work on guns, Civil War right after. and he did a lot of cartridge conversion guns where they changed muskets to shoot cartridges, and his was a pretty successful and a good design. And then in the early 1880s, in England, they made a lever action rifle, had a tubular magazine as a repeater, to try to compete against some of the, like the Winchester rifles. It was a unique design.
Oh yeah, so a lot like the Sharps or something like that, similar to
this
that.
Will show. Look at the cylinder on this. It had actually like a cylinder, but it was a 2-hole cylinder, and it would, one would be on the bottom.
One that flip back and
Bullet
forth.
would come in the bottom. When you run the action, it would flip, rotate the cartridge to the top, and when you close the hammer, it'd lock it in place, or the lever, it'd lock it in place and fire. Next time you activate the lever for your action, it would rotate the cylinder deal around again, but it was a flat cylinder. It's just 2 holes.
Right.
And in the middle of this rotation, it eject the spent cartridge back out, and then rotate the loaded one back up in position.
Right.
It has a collar on the front of the.
That's what I was wondering.
And
It's
that was
almost
part-
like it's almost
That
like,
was part of it to help with the seat against the barrel.
so
and seal.
it's almost like they reversed the case head.
Yeah.
Like what we're used to, that head, case head or whatever's on the
It's
bottom.
on the back, and that sets your headspace, but this set the headspace off the
front.
collar.
Yeah, on the front. That's weird.
And he tried to compete and get some military contracts and such, and never was successful. So basically, like a lot of the companies at the time, they pretty much dried up when they spent their effort. It's a great rifle. There's been just a very few made, very few sold, and being in England, that's just something you don't see over here. But
Right. When they developed this particular one, which was certainly the oddball, you said it was kind of to compete with the Winchesters.
yeah, I was hoping to get some military contracts.
Was those other cartridge, what we would consider more antique cartridge, were they already in production? The 4440s and the
3840. They was trying to go against that, and you'll get some.
So this wasn't trying to fill a gap. I mean, they thought this was a better design, I guess, or something, right?
It was pushing, saying we got a better product, use our product, but it never took off.
Yeah.
I don't know if they didn't have the right connections or the right.
I think they were just backwards. That's what they were, because that's a weird animal.
But it would be a sure enough safe cartridge in a tubular magazine.
Well, that's absolutely true. There's no way you're gonna
and that was part of their selling point for their design.
Yeah.
One more thing here, we'll go to a new area.
Yeah.
Is a lot of people see the BB caps. You can show that one in the 10.
Yeah.
That's you can common 6mm Flobert, BB cap, whatever. But what a lot of people don't realize is how many other calibers that they did these in. These were used like in salon guns, indoor parlors in Europe and such. But like here's one that's 7mm.
7mm
instead of 6.
So that's 6, and then we got the 7 here. Looks like a can of Copenhagen almost.
Yep.
Now, how many's in a box here? Just curious.
And then they even went to these are 100 count boxes.
Oh, okay.
Packages. And they used a lot of art. Like this one's paper, cardboard.
They are, yeah.
And both sides have a lot of art.
Right.
This one's just a simple 10, about like a skull can.
It's plated as can be.
And that's a 9mm.
That's the 9. So.
And they had them, 4 and others 8. They had all kinds of sizes of these. These are the 3 I have on hand. But it's just amazing that they made that many varieties of calibers in these, basically the same gun.
Right.
And I'm not really sure what their thinking was. You're probably not changing the power or the impact or anything. I mean, there's cap fire. They really didn't even have powder.
That's basically a primer and a pellet.
Yeah.
Basically, right? And so
it's a primer powered pellet gun, basically.
Yeah, I mean, maybe certain things, if you're talking about a gallery setting or something like that, maybe, or an exhibition, maybe distance. Maybe some things were further distance or something.
Bullet might work better at distance.
Yeah, at breaking a glass globe, maybe they were doing some weird something like that.
But I just find it interesting. I keep finding new sizes and how many sizes of these they made.
Right, and I mean, finding the firearm for them is, difficult enough a lot of times.
Some of them early ones are beautiful.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
Scroll work on the wood and on the iron and the metal. I mean, some of them guys really went all out on their little salon pistols.
Right. Yeah, thanks, Duane.
Hey,
as normal, we got a definite education today on several things. Hopefully you guys out there learned some stuff. Remember, you can always jump down, leave comments, questions, stuff like that below. Thanks for hanging out. Thanks for watching. Until next time, don't forget to chain fire freedom.